Hello, hello, hello. How are you all today? I'm trying to be more consistent with my videos. I've got so much that I want to share with you that I've made a list. Life has just been too crazy to make videos lately. Sorry, my nose feels like it's running. So today I want to talk about the goddess Persephone. So I'm in the Awakened Soul Coven with Ethany, and each month she shares with us a new goddess. And this month is Persephone. And so, sorry, I feel like there's something in my teeth. And so it was interesting because there was a meeting or a class, whatever, where they were talking about Persephone and her overbearing mother. And I realized I was not very familiar with Persephone and her story. So Persephone is a Greek goddess in the Zeus pantheon. And so the story wasn't sitting right with me from that class. So I went and I did my own research. And that means I went and watched YouTube videos. So I watched a few different versions. And so what I'm going to share with you is my mesh of how I like the story. So you might want to go ahead and do your own research so that you know what you like, what story you like. So here's the story, okay? So Hades and Zeus are brothers. Actually, didn't even know that. Hades and Zeus were brothers. And Hades was the only deity that had to live in the underworld. And it's his responsibility when people came to the underworld, he's supposed to educate them to get them ready for their reincarnation so that they can be a better person when they come back reincarnated. I did not know that. So apparently the Disney version of Hades is way off. He's not this mean guy with flaming blue hair. He's actually a good guy that just happens to be in charge of the underworld. So he got lonely and he said, "Hey, Zeus, I really need a wife." And Zeus was like, "Hey, well, pick whoever you want and you can have her." And so Hades picked Persephone. And so there's a school of thought that he went and talked to Persephone about it, but most of the versions that I saw, that didn't happen. The way that I saw it is that they made an agreement that while Demeter was away, so Demeter is Persephone's mother, and Demeter and Persephone had a super close relationship. It was just the two of them. They were like the Gilmore Girls, and they just loved each other, and they did everything together. And it was it was Demeter's job to make all of the plants grow, all the crops grow. And so one day she is out doing her job, making all the crops grow. And Zeus and Hades managed to abduct her daughter Persephone while she's distracted working. So Persephone goes to the underworld with Hades. And then Zeus thinks the thing's over, everything's fine, because he seems to be a little insensitive to people's feelings, whether they're goddesses or gods or humans. And Demeter just got really, really depressed. And so she was so depressed that she was no longer making crops grow. And the land became cold and barren. And Zeus finally noticed his humans are starving to death. And he's like, "Oh no, this is a problem." Meanwhile, there's this rule that if anyone eats anything in the underworld, they cannot leave. So Zeus goes and talks to Demeter. And he's like, "What can I do? You've got to do your job. I don't want all the humans to die. I need you to make the fields grow." And so Demeter is like, "I can't. I need my daughter." And so that's where we go back to the class that I took. They talked about Demeter being this overbearing mother. Well, I think it really depends on the stage of life you're in. So here I am, I'm 50 years old. I've already been through the empty nest syndrome, which let me tell you is a real deal. When your kids grow up and move away, it's hard on a mom. It's probably hard on a dad too. I don't know, but it's really hard on a mom. And so Demeter had this really close relationship with Persephone. She didn't have a husband. She didn't have any other children. And so to have her daughter just kidnapped like that and never brought back to visit or anything, I can totally see her depression. I probably would have felt similarly. And so she just wanted her daughter back. So Zeus went down to the underworld and he's like, Hades, I gotta bring Persephone back to Demeter because we've got a problem. The humans, they're gonna starve to death and I don't want all my humans to die. And so Hades is like, Persephone, what do you want to do? And by this time, she had actually fallen in love with Hades. Reminds me of the movie Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. It's an old musical. Was that in the 60s or something? It's really good. I enjoyed it, but it's the same premise. So these brothers that live out in the wilderness, they go into town and they kidnap young women to marry them. And so yeah, the stories remind me of each other. They're very similar. And so Zeus asks Persephone, Persephone, have you eaten anything while you've been in the underworld? And she says, well, I ate 6 pomegranate seeds. And Zeus was like, what are we going to do? And he said, okay, so here's what we're going to do. For each pomegranate seed that you ate, you have to spend 1 month of every year in the underworld. So for 6 months of the year, you'll be in the underworld, and 6 months of the year, you'll go back to your mother. And she was fine with that. And that is why for 6 months of the year, we have spring and summer. And for 6 months of the year, we have fall and winter. Because when Demeter is happy, the plants grow and the sun shines. And when Demeter is sad, missing her daughter, we have winter and it's barren. And she goes in and cries and sleeps in her bed. And so, yeah, I think it's pretty amazing. And I think it's beautiful. And my daughter actually asked me, why would you celebrate Persephone in January? Well, the holiday Imbolc actually signifies the beginning of spring, and that is February 1st. It actually starts at sundown on January 31st and goes through to sunset on February 1st. And that is a holiday where the goddess Brigid, in ancient Celtic custom, is supposed to come and bless all the plants so that they will grow. And there are different ways that you can celebrate the holiday. You make a Brigid's cross and hang it above your door, and it stays there all year long until you make a new one, the next Imbolc. So I'm excited to go celebrate that with my grandchildren this year. Right now I'm studying up on Imbolc. I found a fun ritual in Wikipedia, and I'm just reading all my resources to make it as fun a holiday as it can be. When I first heard that it's the beginning of spring, I was like, wait a second, because I'm in Utah. There's snow outside right now. How can it be the beginning of spring? However, under the earth, the little plants are starting to sprout. And it reminds me of one of my favorite memories is one spring when I was here in Utah and I was doing dishes and I looked out my kitchen window and I could see in my neighbor's backyard tulips sprouting up in the snow. And I loved that. It was just so beautiful to me. So that's kind of what Imbolc is. Even though it doesn't feel like springtime yet, spring is beginning. And so it's time to celebrate. I hope that you learned something. I would love to see your comments. And please like, subscribe, comment. And also, I did start a Patreon account, Positively Susie. I'm going to start putting content on there today. I am going to be sharing on there videos about spiritual gifts and entourage and tarot and all the fun woo-woo stuff. So I hope to see you there. And I love you for watching, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.